Try if it fits over there. Maybe you can sit here. You can sit here. Oh, nobody.
So when you file an API, I'll try. One of the questions.
Yeah, from your accent, I guess you were going to see.
Yeah, well, that maybe was something like he was in town.
Right? I wasn't there.
For example,
Okay, yes. Please take your seat, 30 seconds, and we'll begin with this last session of presentations. Then you will have an opportunity to get through the poster sessions, and do not forget 6 o'clock for those which have an interest for any social event. There will be the buses which are there. For those that need some... 7:15? So the bus is 7:15? And jeans only? Oh, there are more and more informations about it. So we have a lot of time. Great. So thanks a lot. It's also not to put any pressure of any of our colleagues that will be doing presentation. So we'll begin and with a presentation by Jan KOLAR on the Czech space instruments and satellites. And maybe rather than I read anything about all of you guys, please, you can spare a few minutes for presentations of who we are and who we are working for. Please, Jan.
Thank you very much. Thank you for introducing. Well, my name is Jan KOLAR, and my role is at the moment director of the CzechSpace office. I am in space business now for more than 40 years. And, but I am not lawyer. So sorry for too constructive discussion about legislation, but nevertheless, I'm also alumni of the Czech Technical University, so we are at least two with Attila. My background is nuclear physics, but most of my career I devoted to remote sensing and Earth observation, and this is how I am connected with the space type of activities. And also in the last 20 years, I was engaged, and I am still engaged in building up the space infrastructure in the Czech Republic and support the international cooperation of Czech Republic in the space program. So my presentation will be a little bit, maybe more than a little bit different from what we have had before, because I would like to introduce you to the space activities of this country, where most of you are here for the not first time, but certainly first time to discuss the space business, maybe. So it would be worthwhile to really very short to tell you something about what the Czech Republic is doing in the space, but of course with some intentions also to tackle the things of small satellites. And I hope that you will understand why the small satellites are interesting also for Czech Republic. So at the first really historical tradition, just to remind you what some of you know, that the Czech Republic has a long tradition in the 17th and 80s of last century, because Czech Republic, in that time Czechoslovakia, was a member of Intercosmos program. And then there were quite busy years for the Czech space scientists and people and engineers. 23, not satellites by that, but because it was a Soviet platform, but the instruments of the satellites. Then this country is a third in the line of nations owning the man in the space. It is also 1978, quite a long time ago. And then were very important and still the most important contributions of Czechoslovakia and Czech Republic now to the space activities, when this country provided the movable platforms for international interplanetary missions and for Mir space station as well. And also participated in some international and Mars exploration specifically missions. So, sorry. Jumping more than 20 years, what is the situation today? So, Czech Republic became the member state of the European Space Agency in 2008. So it was, in fact, first from the last wave of the so-called new countries in Europe, coming from the Central and Eastern Europe. And at the moment, we participate in about 14 programs of that agency. So from that time, we took part, or our scientists and engineers, in more than almost 200 of projects. So definitely European Space Agency is our main partner, and the majority of national activities are covered by European programs. Just another important partner is European Union program, when the Horizon 2020 program at the moment, which is also R&D type of activity, but it's significantly less because of money involved. And then at the third category is national research and development projects, which are also funded. I also should mention the EUMETSAT, because Czech Republic is also a regular member of EUMETSAT. Regarding the volume, just to be in some perspective, what Czech Republic is devoted to space activities in total at the moment. Numbers are on the screen. You see that for space research and development, but we don't have too much commercial activities, in fact, at the moment. It's roughly 20 million euro per year, which is quite a small part of our state budget, from which is about 70% devoted to the European Space Agency programs. What type of capabilities we have in our country, in Czech Republic? They are quite wide spectrum of different type of technical capabilities and scientific capabilities. Space physics traditionally is a strong one, mainly with the solar physics and magnetospheric type of research, both in the Earth and also interplanetary type of research. Then applications, it's traditionally developing in our country, and this also carry with it some kind of commercialization activities, because Earth observation, telecommunication, and navigation are three main applications. Activities are also developing in our country. And we have quite a good tradition in that. Telecommunication, for example, and navigation. And specifically researchers in this technical university were involved in the several aspects of developing, for example, receiving station for GPS, both GPS, Galileo, and others. So mechanics, it's also quite important part of our activity, together with electronics. So the electronic instruments are on the almost every our contributions to space. And in the small part, also software and material and detector type of research. So if I should be a little bit more concrete and coming to the point of our seminar, I would like to introduce some specific instruments the Czech Republic developed for space already in a recent history. There is a participation, as you see, in some ESA satellites with some specific type of instrument. The first two belongs to the registry measurement of particles and also the plasma and waves in the Earth magnetosphere and ionosphere. And then is a microaccelerometer, which is it has also quite a long heritage. I mean, that instrument, specifically a microaccelerometer, which is at the moment on 3 swarm satellites launched in 2013. What is in the future and the near future? Hopefully, these activities or these corporations are outside the ESA. This is first one. It's again our detector for charged particles is planned to be put on the Japanese satellite. Again, as you see, the electronics for the detector of energetic electrons for France satellite Ariane. And what should come hopefully in the 2016 is that the experiment of ISS, which is planned for the new European generation of atomic clocks, should be started. And there is also one important instrument developed in Czech Technical University, by the way, again, not in this faculty, but it's a laser-based time synchronization instrument, which will be used for synchronization of atomic clocks on the on ISS with the ground clocks. And then the which is planned for far future, or still mostly in this before the 2020. It's participation in the technology satellite Proba 3. It's ESA satellite. Solar Orbiter is as well the ESA mission to study the solar physics, which is probably at the moment the biggest Czech experiment or participation in the space program at the moment. And also, which is not still yet defined, the participation in moon mission, which Europe is planned to do together with Russia in 2018, and then a recently approved mission to Jupiter moons. So, small satellites, finally. The Czech Republic and Czechoslovakia, again, is a country which has, again, quite long heritage and history regarding the small satellites. maybe some of you noticed that